Well, hello folks, welcome back. Saturday at like, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 1:15. Got a few hours to kill. Got a site that's close by, like 15 minutes away, which never happens, So we got some crazy amount of work thrown at us. We got some tight deadlines. Come down and do 3, 4, 5 hours worth of work today. Just gets us that much further ahead. So here we are. The road is basically done. Brady was down here on Thursday and Friday. Yesterday was Friday. Bunch of thunderstorms kept rolling through, so sitting in a big steel excavator with a thunderstorm is not a good place to be. Had to shut down, head home for the day. But the road is basically done. There's just a little small section out front that I'm gonna go out and do because we gotta get dump trucks in here to build a turnaround spot. So I've got a bit of work on the power lines here to do, that touch up on the road on the way out. This one anchor is about 50% done, and then we've got the other 2 anchors. So I'm gonna focus on getting the road ready, get the power line done, and then we'll see how I'm making out, because I need to create a turnaround spot right here. This fence is getting bumped out 10 feet. There's a generator install going in here, and there's nowhere for trucks to turn around once you get in here. And there's gonna be concrete trucks coming and boom trucks coming and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna push a 20-foot wide turnaround spot right in this area right here. Cover up this rock. That will be my height, basically. So I gotta get this ready, get that mulched, get this area cleaned up and ready for trucks to come in and dump. There is a turnaround spot out front, right at the very end of the road. So I'll be able to pull in off the highway with the truck, turn around there and back up. And also out at the highway, there's quite a dip at the start of the road that I need to correct as well. But first things first, jump in the 95. I got the 95 mulching again. Yes, sir. We got the Ferntree FF40 head, working pretty good. The only thing I can say, 2 things I can say about this head that I don't like is the hose placement. You can see how they're bent that way, because when you curl, you can hit your thumb. This one's not as bad as the 80. The 80 is like a little different style thumb. You can pinch that off. The other thing that I don't like, or I'm not finding are holding up all that well, are the teeth. You can see this is the first tower site that we've done with these teeth. Stuck in the ground there. We did that site down in Chester, but like there's just big chunks taken right out of these teeth. Like boom, gone. They're definitely not as strong as the FAE teeth. I can say that. But it works really good. I'm happy with it. The machine really cranks it up, so that's nice. But all right, let's get some trees flying. All right, so get the road done out front. Tighten up the power line here a little bit. I'm not going right down to the ground here because there's some pretty good sized nuggets in there. I don't need any more chunks taken out of the teeth. So I said it before and I'll say it again, the only downfall with this machine, and it applies with mulching as well, is its reach. This is where the 80 really shines. When you're reaching out over, trying to do things like this, trying to get at the power line and whatnot. Now the 80 doesn't have the stability that this does. With the big counterweight on the back of it, conventional tail swing. Like this actually does make 135 or a 155. Preferably a 155, so you're not smacking your counterweight all the time. So who knows? Who knows what the future may bring? But yeah, the stability is nice in this. I think the head weighs like around 1,200 pounds, so it's not light. So when you get stretched out like this, especially, I am tilted a little bit towards the mulcher to try to get as much reach as I can. Stability is great. We've adjusted the hoses on this machine, shortened them up big time, and they came, holy crap, they were long. They're still a little long. The one on the right hand side there for me, I don't know how it comes through on the video, but the one on the right hand side for me is a good length. That's just about perfect. It might be too short though for the 80. You can see that solid hydraulic line coming off the machine. But the two hoses, the K-strain and the, I can't remember right now looking at this, all the machines are different, if that's the return line or the feed line. That's still a little long. It's better, but it's still a little long. I still gotta kind of keep an eye on it so that I don't suck it up, tear it apart, shut me down for the day. Now obviously this is a tower site, so I don't need to be as picky with grinding things up super fine like I would at someone's house. end up climbing right down in there to do this better. But I'm just gonna get what I can get from up top here right now. White birch on a hot summer's day is about the worst thing you can mulch. There are worse, but as far as popular goes, around here and up in New Brunswick, PEI, there's a lot of white birch. It is so stringy. Now if it's like wintertime and it's really cold, it's not that bad, but in the summertime, back, just check on the head, check the teeth and all that. Finish this little section off here to my left by the anchor, and then I'm going to crawl down in that first guy anchor here off to my right. We got some big maple here. That off. Get in there and grind that puppy up. One more here to knock off. Pop it. Watch my hoses on my thumb. Yeah, one at a time here. Handsaw work here. I'll just cut those off flush to the ground. selling MDE equipment, grapples and tree shears, but everything on their website I can sell. And they've got a flail mower out right now, and they're working on a mulcher. They've asked me some questions along the way, so that's pretty exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to once they have that done. I want to test it out for them. Ideally, before it goes to market to sell, I'd love to get my hands on it and test it out first. So we'll see about that. Puppy. Taking that back to the cottage. On the last anchor. A little touch up on the power line. And she's done. But we've got a great big, well, not big, but we've got a thick clump of maples here right in front of me. Right now. Yeah. So honestly, it's better to have one like good sized tree instead of having a whole whack load of smaller ones like this. So, if this clump is gone, you guys tell me in the comments if you think that this is more efficient or cutting by hand and putting through a chipper. So think about doing it by yourself, or even a crew of 2 or 3 guys. guessing it is a big old maple tree that was cut off. It's got a big stump and a whole bunch of saplings grew out. So I'm not actually leaving 2 feet of stumps or butts there. That's the actual stump. Folks, well, here we are. Last tree to mulch. A nice pine. Let's let this old girl relax for a minute. Man, these teeth, like, they just break apart, like chunks of them. With my FAE, that never happens. Like, look at that. And that's not even for me, that's old, you can tell. My FAE would wear down evenly, like this, but better, like smooth. Another one. Holy, holy, holy. Anyway, okay. Well, she's done. Ready for the turnaround spot. So, we got the road finished. Power line is finished. Anchor around the compound. Anchor 2. And anchor 3. How about that? That's a good afternoon's worth of work right there. Tell you, I like this thing for mulching. Holy crap. That jib boom was like 1.5 to 2 feet longer. There's no way I'd ever trade in this machine. I would get rid of my 80 in a heartbeat and keep this. But the 80 has so much reach. And tight areas and all that, but man, the stability of this is absolutely phenomenal. And I can tell you that I would have lost my track on the 80 40 times today. This, not a worry in the world. But all right, folks, back to the roots. A mulching video. Imagine that. A towing video recently and a mulching video. Man, are we going back in time? Anyway, stay tuned. I might get some footage tomorrow of think I'm gonna come down here tomorrow actually. I think Greg's gonna come in, run the twin steer and load himself at the pit. We gotta build that turnaround spot. So I'll be here with this. I'm gonna bring a bucket down to start pushing off piles. But I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen for tomorrow. Sunday fun day. They're all fun days, right? Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. This was fun. Honestly, it's nice to get back out in the machine and doing this stuff. You know, more important things to do, probably, but also there's some serious deadlines to meet right now, so it is what it is. When you're the owner, that's how she goes. All right, folks, until next time, take care, stay safe, and we will see you then. Bye.